What's up everyone, I'm Mike with woodshopmike.com, and today I'm going to show you how to quickly and easily build a base cabinet that looks something like this. So let's head down to the shop and get started.
To start off, I cut out all of my parts for the cabinet carcass from a sheet of 3/4 inch plywood. Next, I cross-cut these pieces to length for the sides, bottoms, and stretchers that will be used to build this cabinet. Now, if you aren't comfortable cross-cutting on the table saw like this, use a cross-cutting sled, a circular saw, or a handsaw. From the remaining material, I cut out 4 stretchers. Now over at the miter saw, I cut the stretchers to their final length. Next up, I lay out for the toe kick and the cabinet sides. And then over at the bandsaw, I set up the fence and cut out the toe kick area. A jigsaw is another quick way to cut out this material if a bandsaw is not available. With all the parts cut for the cabinet carcass, it's time to start drilling pocket holes. I start with the back stretchers and drill holes in both ends and along one edge. Next, I remember to turn on the shop vac and then get back to drilling pocket holes in the remaining parts as detailed in my plans. And speaking of plans, if you're interested in getting the plans for this cabinet, you can click the card above or in the description below, where I also have all of the tools I used listed for you. These plans are intended to be a guide, so if you're making a different size base cabinet than the one that I'm building here, you can easily customize it to fit your needs. And one more thing to mention real quick is that for this cabinet I did not put a back panel in it since it's being used as a sink cabinet. Don't worry though, in the plans I show you how to add a back panel if needed. To begin assembling the cabinet, I screw the bottom and sides together, making sure to orient the bottom so the edge with the pocket holes is facing forward. To hold things together while assembling cabinets, my go-to method is using a few Bessey K-body revos and or trigger clamps. They're easy to use and keep parts from moving around while the pocket hole screws are going in. While I finish putting this cabinet carcass together, I want to take a quick minute and say thank you to Bessey Tools for sponsoring this video. If you've not used their clamps before, make sure to check them out and see for yourself the difference that high-quality clamps can make. For the face frame on this cabinet, I went with 3/4 inch poplar since this cabinet will end up being painted. I start the milling process by cutting these parts to rough length at the miter saw. Then back at the table saw, I rip each piece to width for the rails and stiles. Back at the miter saw, I'm now ready to start cutting everything to the final length. At this point, I set up to drill pocket holes in the rails and stiles as needed for assembly. I sand the inside edge of the face frame to 220 grit so that I have a smooth surface when it comes time to paint, and it's much easier to do this now rather than once the face frame is assembled. To assemble the face frame, I lay out the pieces and grab my impact driver along with a handful of 1/4 inch pocket hole screws. With a bit of marking and measuring along the way, assembling a face frame using pocket hole screws is a pretty quick task. Also, if you're interested in seeing how I built the bench I'm currently working at, you can hit the link in the card above. I have plans for this bench as well, just in case you'd like to make one for your shop. Before I call it done, I measure across the corners to make sure the face frame is square. Now I'm ready to attach the face frame to the cabinet. First, I make sure to actually put it on right side up and with the pocket holes facing the inside of the cabinet. I use some right angle pocket hole clamps along with a set of Bessey trigger clamps to hold the face frame in place while I screw it to the box. With the face frame secured to the sides, I now screw it to the bottom as well. I could have also screwed the face frame to the top stretcher, but since this will be a sink cabinet, I didn't want to risk hitting screws with my jigsaw when I cut out the sink opening. All of that to say, if this were a standard base cabinet, I would have secured the face frame to the top stretcher as well. Now that this cabinet is complete, it's ready to install, and that gap at the toe kick will have a board attached to the front of it once all the cabinets are in place.
So this base cabinet is installed in our recently renovated laundry room, and we outfitted it with some shaker style doors. So if you want to learn how to make shaker style doors, you can check out this video that I have right here. And if you want to catch the full laundry room renovation, check out that one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and until next time, have fun making something.